My name is Dharmendra Patel, your science teacher. Welcome to Divine Public School. We are going to learn the first chapter of our textbook, chapter 1, Matter in Our Surrounding. Now, what we are going to learn is what is matter? Matter is made up of particles and how small these particles are. Now, you must be wondering, if you see things around you, what do you think? What is matter? So, when you think about a matter, you you must be wondering that what is matter around you. So if you see what is around you, you are surrounded by the cupboards, which is made up of wood, your bed, even your bed sheets, cloth, right, your bottle made up of steel or a glass or a plastic, right, the mobile phone you are using, so many things are there around you. Do you ever think that what it is made up of? Now you must say, sir, our phone is made up of a metal. Now, have you ever thought what a metal is made up of? So, everything which is around you is a matter. Everything which is around you is a matter. So, that's what they are trying to tell us, that what is matter, right? What is matter? So, they said in this universe, right, anything made up of material, which scientists name as matter. So, in this universe, we are saying that anything which is made up of a material. Now, see, your cloth is made up of a material, right? Your refrigerator, your cupboard, your bed sheets, your pillows, your glass, your windows, your grills, your doors, everything is made up of some other another material. So, we are surrounded with a matter, but still the question is not so clear that what is matter. So they said matter is what? The air we breathe, the food we eat, stones, clouds, stars, plants, animals, even a drop of water and a particle of a sand is all matter. So earlier times, what happened is the people are started looking or researching about matter. They want to know what a matter is. They wanted to keep on research that what is matter. Lot of questions arise the way you have in your mind right now, right? And finally they come up to a solution that anything which occupies space or have mass, anything which occupies space means what? If you put a table in your room or in your hall, it occupies some space, right? Anything which occupies space and have some mass, we call it as a matter. So they simply define that matter is a substance have mass and volume. So finally we had something. What do we get? That matter is something which has mass and volume, which has mass and volume. So finally we arrived to some conclusion. So what is matter? Matter is something which has mass and volume. But still it is still not so clear that still what is matter. So earlier philosophers, right, earlier Indian philosophers. Now who are philosophers? Philosophers and scientists, there is a difference between those two people. Philosophers, based on their knowledge and experience, they put a statement which might be true, which might not be true. It's just a statement. There is no experiment they did, there is no hardcore conclusion they have. They made, based on their experience and the knowledge, they made a statement. Those are called philosophers. Now scientists, what do? Scientists first check, they do experiment, they do test it, and then they give a conclusion that yeah, this is it. So there is a difference between these two. So I am talking about earlier Indian philosophers, right? If you talk about with your elders, they might tell you that what matter is made up of. Though they say that it is made up of panch tattva. See the word panch tattva. And what is that? Air, earth, fire, sky and water. So earlier Indian philosopher believe that matter is made up of 5 things, elements, which we call it as air, water, earth, fire and sky. So earlier people believed that matter is made up of such 5 elements. But how do you justify this thing? See, we cannot just accept anything, right? So still people are researching. It's not Indian, only Indian people are researching. Everywhere people are doing the same. So Greek philosophers, even they gave the same conclusion. What did they say? That they also classify the matter in the same way we did: air, earth, fire, sky and water. But the scientist doesn't accept things like that. So what they say, the modern day scientists evolve two classification of matter based on their physical properties and chemical nature. Now what do you mean physical property? Physical property is like the one which can be touch, can be feel, those we call a physical property. Touch, whether it is hard or soft, whether it is shiny or not, right? It is lustrous. So those are called physical properties. Now what is chemical properties? Whether it is flammable or not, right? Whether all those things. So chemical nature and a physical nature, they define matter in terms of two things: physical properties and chemical properties. So let me reframe what we have come up. What we learn is, we are looking what a matter is. So what is matter around in our surrounding? So first we said everything around us is made up of matter. Everything. The air we breathe, the food we eat, the stone, clouds, stars, plants, animals, everything is made up of matter. Right? But that doesn't justify. So we said matter is what? That has both mass and volume, we call it as a matter. Then comes Indian philosophers, they said matter is made up of Panchatattva: air, earth, fire, sky and water. Then the Greek philosopher came, they said the same thing. Then the modern scientists came, they said no, matter can be classified. Classified means it can be categorized by either by physical properties or either by chemical properties. Then still, if we put a second question in our thing, so we know what is a matter now. So what is a matter? Matter is something which has mass and volume, and matter can be categorized into two things based on physical properties and based on chemical properties. Now the question arises, what is matter made up of? So they said matter is made up of particles. Now what is particle? Now that is still a surprise, right? Still particles, right? Now if you think about we are sitting in our house. So let's say take it house as one thing. Now your house is divided into rooms, right? Your house is divided into different rooms. Each room is divided into, means, let's say house is made up of rooms. Rooms are made up of walls. Walls are made up of, somebody says, a brick and cement and all, right? So what is brick made up of? So they said brick is made up of sand, right? So that's why the things comes up. So what is ultimately your house is made up of? Sand. So what is sand? Sand is a particle. So this matter is made up of some other another particles. In very simple word, we say atoms. We will discuss about it little later, right? So what are those particles called? Those particles are called atoms. So if you go deeply into one or the another thing, you will get matter is made up of particles, and particles are what? Atoms. Now let's say they have given an example to us. That take a beaker. You know, beaker is like a glass made up of right, as you can see here, but that is specially have a little curve part on it which help you to pour something in it. Now in that we have water. Now let's say we put 1 tablespoon of salt in it and you stir. You know, the salt disappear in water. Now do you ever thought of that, where does that salt go? Have you ever thought of that, where does the salt go? So we say that this is water, right? This is your water. This is your beaker and this is your water. And you know this water is made up of water molecules, okay? The one we name it as H2O, yes. So, you know, if you see this water molecule have space in between. When you drop salt into it, this salt will settle in between these particles. They mix with them, and where does it go? It will mix in between these particles. So because of they have space, it will mix, okay? Because of space they mix, and the water is dissolved in it. So when can things will not dissolve? When do not have space in between, yes, right? So what I was trying to say here is, where does the salt go? The salt go because the particles of the matter have spaces in between. Can you see this statement? When we dissolve salt in water, the particles of the salt get into the spaces between the particles of water, exactly. So now you understand, when you pour a spoon of sugar or a salt into water and you dissolve them, where does it go? It goes in between the particles of water. It goes between the particles of water, okay? Now they are giving one more example. So my question arises again, then how small is those particles? Do you ever imagine how small is the particle? So for that they give one more example. They say, let's take a beaker, and instead of this I put one drop of ink, okay? So whole beaker will turn into blue. Now you say you take 5 beakers. What you are saying is, you are taking 5 beakers. We are taking 5 beakers, okay? And in each you pour water, and each you pour water. Now what you do is, you pour a drop of ink in it, blue ink, right? So the whole water will turn into blue. Now do one thing, take a small spoon of water and put it in this one. So again this turns into blue. Now again you take 1 spoon of water from this and put it in the next. This also turn into blue. From this again you put it here. This also turns blue. From this take 1 spoon and put it here. This also turns blue. But the question is, what is the intensity of blue color here? This is darker. This will become lighter. Again this is more lighter, and it goes on. So think, one small drop of ink have so much particles, so many particles, so many, that it turns the first beaker into all blue. Then we just take a very small amount and then goes into another one, then another one, then another one. Think, one drop of ink have so many particles. I mean, our imagination get crazy, right? So that's what they are saying. How small is the particles? The particles are so tiny. See here, we can conclude that there must be a millions of tiny particles into one crystal of potassium permanganate. We take a ink, potassium permanganate turns into pink water. But think about here, it can turn into this blue water. One drop of ink will have millions of particles, guys, millions of. So still, how can you number them? We cannot. The particles are beyond our imaginations. So can somebody tell that in this one how many particles are there? No, 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 no. It is beyond our imaginations, right? So what we have learned today? What is matter? Matter is made up of Matter is made up of particles. But for that, first what we learn, matter is something which has mass and volume. Then we learn Indian philosophers believe that the matter is made up of Pancha Tattva, air, earth, fire, sky and water. Then the Greek philosopher also believes the same. Then comes a modern scientist, they said no, matter is made up of physical properties and chemical nature. Then we are finding what matter is made up of, and we conclude that matter is made up of particles. Now where does this particle go when you dissolve it? It goes in between the space of those particles. And finally we learn how small is the particle. Particles are so small that is beyond our imagination. It is beyond our imagination. Okay, so that's it for today. I'm starting with little few today so that you will be little handy, and of course you can ask me any questions you have. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, bye, take care.